I don't know why there's such a delay all the time. All right, so it's showing live on YouTube and live on Faceplant. Okay. Live, we're showing live. Okay, we're showing live. Live. From station WDWL TV, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, me, and, oh yeah, the grumpy vulture. You want to take a bow? Okay, take a bow. Take a bow. If you insist, take a bow. Okay. At least the banner was straight. All right, back in your spotlight. Look at the camera. There you go. Get rid of your riser. Okay, roll call. Kathy's here, Linda's here. And yes, just before airtime I checked. 93. I said, holy shit. Only 7 more to go. Yep, only 7 more to go. And how's everybody feeling? I overdid it with the weed whacker Sunday, and I'm feeling it. I will send a little of that heat up here. Let me look. Right now it's 58, and temperatures are going to be dropping tonight. Well, I'm glad to see everybody's doing good. How's the little one doing? Although I think she'd probably smack the shit out of me calling her the little one. The last thing a preteen wants to hear is somebody calling her the little one. 83, send it this way. I'm freezing my ass off. And then I look outside today, Marianne, she's in a short sleeve sweatshirt. Work. I'd be freezing my ass off. Good. When is school done? Should be shortly. 87 in Alabama. Send it here. Really? 11 years old and close to 6 foot tall? Oh, softball. No, basketball. She could be another Caitlin Clark. Man, you see the money that girl's making? Holy shit. And the other day she got into a little fracas on the court and she got a big foul for it. And she was like, part of the game. Yeah, tell your granddaughter to go basketball. I'll tell you what, I was watching. It wasn't Caitlin Clark. It was women's basketball. Them women are worse than men sometimes. Holy shit. I wouldn't want to mess with any of them. I just wish that they would make men and women's basketball equal. Men's basketball gets more TV time, it gets more airtime, it gets, they should make it equal. Because the women play just as nasty as the men. And that Caitlin Clark, for a youngster, which she is compared to the rest of her teammates, that girl kicks some ass. And man, can she play. God damn. I'll tell you what. She is a real asset. What does she play for? The Fever, I think. I think that the Fever. Some stupid names they got for these women's basketball teams. The Fever. Personally, I would rather watch women's basketball on TV than men's. I really would. I think they put on a more interesting game. Not to mention, I'm trying to think. I remember just before Caitlin Clark got picked by the Fever, it was like one of her last college games. And there was a young girl that wanted to be the next Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin gave her a jersey, and I can't remember what jersey, and she gave her a shoe. She gave her one of her shoes. Now, I were a 14. That had to be a 16 or 17. That goddamn shoe was huge. I was like, holy shit. Matter of fact, when the girl got home, she was like 11, 12 years old. She put both feet in that shoe, and there was still room in one shoe. But I really enjoy watching women's basketball. They put on a better game. They're just as mean, but I'm tired of watching men's basketball. But they don't get equal airtime. I think if you're going to devote like 10 hours of airtime to men, then devote 10 hours to women. Although, I'll tell you what, during the summer, if I feel like taking a nap, one of the best things to put me to sleep, I turn on golf. Golf will put me to sleep in 10 minutes. Seriously. It is one of the most boring things to watch on TV. And you would think the announcers are standing right next to the players. They whisper, okay, he's stepping up to the tee. He put the ball on the tee. He's looking, he's lining up his shot. Oh, whack! There it goes! There it goes! There it goes! Oh, it landed right in the bunker. Aren't they like in a booth? Way back? They got a fucking whisper? It's the best thing to put me to sleep. Turn on golf, 10 minutes later, I'm done. I have yet to figure out why they fucking whisper. They're like 50, 60 feet away in a booth. You would think that they're standing right next to the caddy, you know. He's about to make his shot. Hold on, it's about an 8-foot putt. Okay, he's lining up. Thwack. Oh, it missed by about an inch. Jesus Christ. Never could understand that. And I played golf years ago, but I was no professional. I mean, although when they used to, at one time, besides having other sporting events, we used to have the Cleveland Open here. And I went to the Cleveland Open the year Arnold Palmer won. And I bought a set of Arnold Palmer clubs and an Arnold Palmer bag. And if you bought the clubs in the bag, he would autograph the bag. So, Grumpy shells out about $1,000 for Arnold clubs, Arnold bag, signature, autograph. The next year, first time I'm out for the season, I put my clubs in the rack outside the clubhouse to go in and sign up, to tell the starter I was here for my tee time and get assigned a caddy. And when we come out of the clubhouse, I discovered I didn't need a caddy because someone stole my fucking clubs. My Arnold Palmer signature clubs, my Arnold Palmer golf bag with autograph. Gone. And nobody saw a thing. I never got to play one stroke with those clubs. And my homeowner's insurance wouldn't cover them. I called my insurance man. I said, hey, remember those Arnold Palmer signature clubs and the Arnold Palmer golf bag with the autograph that I showed you? He goes, oh yeah. How are the clubs? I said, I don't know. Ask the guy that stole them. I said, are they covered? No. In order to get stuff like that covered, you have to have a special rider on your policy. Oh, gee, Linda. I used to work with a guy that was so into golf. It was unbelievable. He would play. 18 holes was just a warm-up for him. One Sunday, he went out and he played like, I'm trying to think, because he was out all day. I think he played 72 holes of golf in one Sunday. They couldn't get him off the course. I was like, hey, don't you think 18 holes is enough? No, he played like 72 holes in one day. He was addicted to golf. Matter of fact, he would take his vacation I'm trying to think what's the one they're playing right now? Or maybe they're done. I know that the golfers were bitching about the course because it was like a sponge. They had gotten, if it wasn't bad enough, they had a shitload of rain. Then they got invaded by turtles. And then the course got invaded by snakes. I was like, where are they playing? Africa? It was some down south somewhere. Atlanta, maybe? All I know is they were bitching about how wet the course was. And then the course got invaded by fucking turtles. And then he no sooner got rid of the turtles and there were snakes. I was like, Jesus. That wasn't Florida. It wasn't Florida. I thought they said Atlanta. You can see how much I follow golf now, but because they had gotten a shitload of rain, and all the golfers wanted them to basically like postpone it a couple of days to dry out. And the PGA said no, play it as is. And then there were a bunch of goddamn turtles. They were in all the sand traps. And then they no sooner get rid of all the goddamn turtles than there were a bunch of snakes. I don't know if they're done playing. They were playing last week. So somebody will have to gargle PGA Tour and see where they were playing last week. Because I think the tourniquet is over. Hey, there she is. How are you, Jenny? I replied to your message. I'm turning into a real Discorder. So far, I've sent 2 messages. Was it Charlotte? All I know is there was a hell of a rainstorm before the tournament started. And then the goddamn sand traps got invaded with turtles. And then they no sooner got rid of the turtles and the goddamn snakes were. I thought they were playing in the Everglades at first. I went up to my variety store today because I had a couple of things to get that I forgot to get the other day. And I'm walking to the back of the store, and I hear the assistant manager yelling, "Wait, wait, wait." I didn't know he was yelling at me. Christ, he knows my name. I bitch him enough. He goes, "Come here, I got to show you something." I was like, it better be good. And then he was like a proud papa. He went, "Look, we finally have every variety of sausage and hot dog from the vendor that you've been bitching about." I said, "Well, it's about fucking time." I said, "Now, do I get a discount?" He goes, "What are you buying?" I says, "Well, since I haven't had them, I'll take a pack of them." He says, "All right, they'll be at the service desk." I said, "Oh, okay." I get up to the service desk. He knocked $5 off. It took it back to the price that it was 4 years ago. Goddamn bulk pack of hot dogs 4 years ago was $8. $16.95. I was like, talk about goddamn inflation. Then I love Tony Paco hot dog chili. Last week, $2.89 a can. Today, $2.99 a can. I said it goes up a goddamn dime in a week? Jesus Christ. This goddamn inflation is killing me. Matter of fact, as I was leaving, I told the assistant man, I told Tim, I said, hey, you know what? Let you in on something. He says, what's that? I says, you know, the older I get, the stronger I get. He says, oh, I'm glad to hear that. I said, yeah. Back in 1970, I couldn't carry $45 worth of groceries in one hand. He didn't get it. Back in 1970, $45 bought you a cart and a half full of groceries. I cannot believe goddamn prices. Jesus. Well, I'm getting like a 4-pound bulk pack of hot dogs. I have had to cut back so much. I mean, you know, it's getting to the point where I can't afford my luxury items, what I call my luxury items. You know, I would get a couple of bags of chips, a couple of things of chip dip, maybe a couple of pizzas a month. Not anymore. In order for me to get a pizza, I got to wait till they have a special. And they say it's going to get worse. I'll be eating goddamn saltine crackers and drinking water at the rate we're going. I never in my life have I found myself in the store looking at so much cheap food. It got even hamburger helpers expensive. Shit. Grilled cheese used to be a cheap meal. Not anymore. Got $6-7 a pound for cheese. $4 a loaf of bread. You know, Linda, I don't know how people with 3, 4, 5 kids can afford to feed them, let alone clothe them. What are people making? $200,000 a year now? It's getting harder and harder to stretch my goddamn Social Security check. Then I found out the other day, my buddy's son makes more in 1 week than I make in 1 month. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, after taxes, he's taking home like $2,800 a week, and he's bitching he can't survive. Try living on my check, buddy. Then everybody wonders why I'm driving 25-year-old vehicles. I don't know how people can afford to make a payment on a new car. Financing 80 grand. I look at car prices and it scares the shit out of me. God, back in 1970, the average price of a a laid out Chevy Impala or a Ford Crown Vic was like $3,800. Of course, you gotta, take in consideration what wages were and everything. Now the average cheapie is like 30,000. And there is not one vehicle out there I would want to own. That's like, all right, now, my buddy worked for Ford 38 years. And he had a vehicle savings account. He started like when he was 50, anticipating when he retired, whatever he bought, he was going to pay cash. Now, Ford does give you a discount, but it ain't that big of a discount. People think, oh, no. He got which is ridiculous, a fully loaded Lincoln Navigator. The front seats, I would like to take out and put in my living room. Like 30-way massage. Christ, it does everything but never mind. I almost made a dirty comment there, but the stereo has 28 speakers and 4 subwoofers. Beautiful sound. $101,000 for something you drive? $101,000. And he's retired. It's not like he's driving to work every day. I was shocked. Now that's what he paid. That wasn't sticker. That was after his Ford discount. Hey Ron, how you doing? That's like the guy down the street from me. He's got a Dodge Ram. Oh, what the hell is that goddamn thing? Oh, I can't remember what the hell. It's the top level trim. Goddamn leather seats are unbelievable in that thing. $98 grand for a pickup truck? I used to go to the auto show every year. Well, I went every year because I was doing freelance photography and I got in for free. I couldn't go anymore because every time I looked at a sticker, they had to give me CPR because I like collapsed right next to the vehicle. They finally told me, quit looking at the stickers already. And then I go past my alma mater and I look in the student parking lot. What's in the student parking lot? Range Rovers, Beamers, big, top end Audis. Then I look in the teacher's parking lot and they're driving shit like me, 25-year-old vehicles. I don't know how people can afford that. What the hell is a monthly payment on a $120,000 vehicle? And then, you're making a car payment, sometimes 2 car payments. You're paying a mortgage, utilities, then you got to feed the family. What are people making? $500,000 a year? It shocks the shit out of me. Well, where'd Kathy disappear to? I got something to tell her. Oh. Yesterday, I tried out my fancy buzzsaw weed whacker that I got from Temu.com, my favorite place to shop. And I didn't really pay close attention, Kathy. Well, I didn't get a lot of life out of the 2 batteries. And then I bring them in, and it took forever to charge them things. So I looked at the sale ad, and it said 24-volt batteries. I got 2 21-volt batteries. So I go on Temu customer service and I said, hey, I got the wrong batteries according to the ad, and they took forever to charge, and I didn't feel I got enough cutting time out of my machine. They immediately refunded me 50%. Instantly. We're sorry to hear that. Here's a 50% refund. I didn't even have to send pictures this time. Evidently, they must have got some other complaints about the wrong batteries. But they didn't, no questions asked. I just said, hey, I got the wrong batteries. I didn't feel I got enough cutting time out of the batteries, and they took forever to charge. Instant refund, knocked 50% off. Now, I only paid $28.50 for it. It wasn't like I paid $100, but bang, $14.25 credit in your account. Have a nice day. Sorry. I was half tempted to take that and buy a second machine. Oh, that was a big thing down south, Linda. Yeah. If you didn't have goddamn flags all over your truck and a gun rack, you weren't with it. They knew you were a northerner. And it's that, what the hell they call that flag that they don't want you to fly down south anymore? Union Jack or something. The one that was on the roof of the Duke boy's car. Yeah, you get in trouble for flying that flag now. But that was, yeah, that was all you saw. Anytime you'd see a picture of a southern pickup truck, had two big Union Jack flags flying in the back and a gun rack in the back window that held at least three rifles, if not more. Oh yeah, them western states, they love their guns. Although I'll tell you what, I am glad they passed the concealed carry reciprocity bill, where if you've got a CCW permit, it's good in all 50 states, which really pissed New York off. Because New York's got some pretty stiff gun laws. So now you don't get in trouble when you go across the United States if you got a concealed carry. If you've got a permit. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's still trucks rolling around with them Confederate flags on them. I just think it was bullshit that they made them take all the statues down. You know, Ulysses Grant and all the generals during the Civil War. They made them dismantle all them statues. I think that was bullshit. That's part of our history. Let's hide our history, in a warehouse now. Everybody gets offended. No, they passed that reciprocity act. Now, if I have my, if I go across country with my permit, I can carry it in any state now. There's no more, this state has its own rules and this. No, that reciprocity act that the government passed, all 50 states. So that means I can leave Ohio with my piece in my shoulder holster and drive right across country and nobody can give me no shit. Yeah, I remember on the news them showing, them taking all the statues down and putting them in warehouses. That's our history. All these do-gooders, oh, that's offensive. No, bullshit. That is our history. What are they going to do? Take it out of the history books now? Kids won't learn about the Civil War? Yeah, I can't remember what the guy's name was that introduced that bill. But it passed. The House, the Senate got signed into law. Old Trump put his big signature on it. And New York is pissed because New York had some real tough carry law. And too bad. That means I can leave the house, stick my 9mm in my shoulder holster, and go right across the United States, and nobody can give me any shit. Yeah, I even double checked. I read the law, which was like reading a Chinese dictionary, all the wording, but what it boils down to is now, if you have a permit, now, like in Ohio, 3 years ago, they signed into law a new CCW law. You don't have to have a permit. You can carry. Anybody can carry except a felon. I have a permit. Piss me off. I had to take the course and everything, and then a year later they passed a goddamn law that says, oh, you don't need a permit anymore. But the best part of having that permit is I can go anywhere with my Taurus tucked in my shoulder holster. Where if I cross the border into Indiana or Illinois, whoa, I get arrested. Not no more. And my permit is right behind my driver's license in my wallet. I pull my driver's license out, and right behind it is that CCW permit. Oh. So I can go anywhere, except I can't go into Family Dollar. You ought to see the looks I get when I walk into Dollar Tree. People are like, whoa, he's carrying a gun. Yeah, and I'm allowed. The governor signed a bill that says I'm allowed. If a store doesn't have that little orange circle with the slash with a gun in the middle of it, you can go in any store. Now, if they have that orange circle with the slash with a gun in it, you can't go in the store. I love walking into my Dollar Tree with my shoulder holster and my fancy Taurus G2C. With the fancy fiber optic sights and the green laser light. Well, good. I'm glad you did. And I'm glad everybody voted for it. Oh, it was amazing how much support that bill had. They weren't worried about getting votes. Whoever introduced that law, he already knew it was going to pass. And that guy with the wacky hair said, if it passes, I'll immediately sign it into law. And he did. And not one of his hairs moved while he was signing that. Although he puts enough hairspray on there, Christ, you could hit it with a bulldozer and that hair wouldn't move. I wish somebody would shave his head. The goddamn hair. Yeah, I could see him. He puts on his suit and his tie. Bring in that 5-gallon garden sprayer. Okay, we're good. To test it, he stands in front of a jet engine on a Boeing 737. Did any of it move? No? Okay. And then did you ever see his signature? Looks like some 5-year-old with a crayon. And signature's about that big on everything he signs. Yeah, we know who you are. You don't need to... I better quit bitching about him. Next thing you know, the Secret Service will be knocking on my door. Step out here and assume the position. I wonder if he ever looks himself in the mirror. Yeah, they bring in a 5-gallon pump sprayer. A little more, guys. Okay, we're good. It won't move. I actually think it's a toupee. A living toupee. It crawls off his head at night. My damn headphones are... They seem awful tight. I don't know why. Yeah, so I took my $14.25 credit and I bought me an external tire pressure reader. Just for grins. Although I need to keep track of my tires on my shitbox because I got a rim leak. And it's kind of neat because the sensors screw onto the valve stem. And not them goofy ones that go inside that everybody bitches about. They're like giant air caps. You screw them on, and then you have a unit that sits on the dash, and it gives you the reading on your tires. And it charges with solar energy. You can't if you have to auxiliary charge it with a USB cable. I figured for $12, hey, if it works for a year, okay. This way I don't have to go out with my air pressure gauge all the time. I can just get in the truck and look and go, oh, that goddamn right rear tire's down again. They can't seal it up. They've ground so much of it off because of corrosion. They can't put enough goo on the tire to seal it, so it leaks about a couple pounds a week. So now I have a tire pressure thing like all the new cars have, except mine thread on top of the valve stem. They don't go inside the rim like them goddamn goofy things on the new cars. It was only like $12.28. The only thing was that I had to spend $10 more because I couldn't charge like 37 cents. So I bought a radar detector. This one covers everything. Every band plus LiDAR, and it faces 4 ways. Yeah, radar, LiDAR, covered every goddamn XJKA, all the radar bands plus LiDAR, and it protects me 4 ways, front, rear, side to side. We'll see how good it is for $9.97. If I get a year out of it, okay. I don't drive that fast to get a goddamn speeding ticket anyway, but it's another toy. So I'll have it on the dash right next to my tire pressure monitor. Oh, what'd you get? A name brand or an off brand? I buy mine online. I buy the cheapest goddamn tires I can find. And they're really not bad. The last set that I bought, they're on the RAV4. They're like Giacobelli's or something. They're made in Italy. Not bad looking tires. And they, get this, the shitbox has white walls. I had to buy 2 different brands because they only had 2 of one brand and 2 of another. Because white walls are getting hard to find. Everybody laughs at that truck. They're like, Goddamn shitbox has got white walls? Yep, it does. I'm a white wall person. If I get the Passat, it will have white walls. Oh no, you know, if I put on 30 miles a month, I'm driving a lot. I don't care what kind of. But if you're doing traveling, yeah, you got to have a good name brand. Those are getting hard to find. White walls, raised white letters. Ever since manufacturers went with this European look, because, white walls, they didn't like white walls in, Europe. I think they ruined the cars. Everything black wall, black wall, black wall. Goddamn Cadillac looks cheap with a black wall. Lincoln looks crappy with a black wall. Even a Tahoe would look crappy with a black wall. And an Acadia. A Tahoe and an Acadia would look crummy with black walls. But you can't. Believe me, I had to search to find white walls. I went through about 8 different online tire sales companies before I could. And then I found 2 with one outfit and then 2 with another. I think I'm trying to think. Tires for you. I think it's tires with the number 4 and then you. Tires for You online. I think that's the name of the outfit. I like it because they deliver them right to my door. And my tire shop is right up the street. The guy gives me a hell of a deal on mounting and balancing. So, yeah. Tires for You. Something like that. Tires for You. Tires to Go. I just go right down whatever's online, put in my tire size, my preference. But yeah, if you're doing traveling and you're carrying a family in the car, yeah, you don't want no cheap Chinese crap like I buy. Years ago, Michelin was an outstanding tire. When we got them from France, because European rubber compound is different than American. That's why Michelin tires used to last 100,000 miles. Now, Michelins are made in America. I wouldn't pay the money for Michelins. I really wouldn't. Back in the day, my father's Cadillacs had Michelin X radials. They were guaranteed for 100,000 miles. And if you rotated them properly, you got 100,000 out of them. Oh, that had to look like a riot. 20-inch mud grippers. Looked like you were driving a bulldozer. Climb up the side of a building. We've got a couple of young men in the neighborhood that have one has got I think he's got a 78 Impala, and another one has got oh God, what the hell year Cutlass is that, Olds? And both of them look so stupid because they've got big ass monster rims, and then the tires look like rubber bands. You see these cars cruising by like, what are they, riding on the rims? Goddamn tires are about that big. The stupidest looking thing. And then they wonder why when they hit a chuck hole they get a blowout. Don't they realize that you got to have sidewall? That's why if you look slow motion, a tire going through a chuck hole or a pothole, it bows out. Whoop, because the sidewall has give. When you got a little itty bitty tire that's got a sidewall about that big, every time you hit a pothole, blowout, and then they wonder why. God, you're almost riding on the goddamn rim. She's got Yahoo tires. That's what I call them, Yahoo tires. Now, I like low profile tires, but not And you can't get it through their head unless you have miles and like the Autobahn, where you got miles and miles of perfectly flat road. Driving around in the city, you hit a pothole, and you wonder why your tire blew out. They don't have any give. I know that because I sold tires. I used to sell tires for Sears when I worked for Sears part-time. And we had videos that showed slow motion, a tire going into a pothole. And as it hit the pothole, it bowed out. Whoop. Well, when you got a tire that's about the thickness of 3 rubber bands, it ain't no bow. Instead of bow, you got blow. God, you're replacing tires monthly. Driving around some of the goddamn shitty streets in Cleveland, you replace them weekly. You mean there's more than one vehicle in the family with little dipsy doodle tires? Oy oy. How many flats do they get a month, a year? They probably wonder why they get flat, why they get blowouts. There's nothing to absorb. You're basically riding on the rim. Well, you're in the part of the country there, Linda, where a pickup truck is considered a Cadillac. Pickup trucks outnumber cars. Although pickup trucks today, Jesus. I mean, even an average Ford F-150, four-door, it's like having a car with an open trunk. That's basically what all the pickup trucks are nowadays. It's a car with an open trunk. Goddamn, some pickup truck interiors are better than car interiors. Oh, Cooper's a good brand of tire. I'll tell you what, when I worked for Sears, my three biggest sellers that I would talk people into: Kelly's, Springfield's, Dunlop's, and Cooper's. No Goodyear, no Firestone, no General, no. I refused to. Matter of fact, I used to tell a customer, because they'd want, Generals or Firestones. I'd say, hey, I'll put these tires on. You drive 2 weeks on these tires. And if you don't like them, I'll take them off and give you whatever you want. And nobody ever came back. Not one customer. Although there's a method to it. No matter what brand tire, a brand new tire is going to ride 10 times better than the shitty old tire that you've got on there right now. Yeah, people would come back and go, them goddamn Kelly Springfields are the best tires I ever bought. I appreciate you selling them, talking me into them. I never told customer, well, they're a brand new tire. I could have put your goddamn BF Goodriches on there. Would have rode the same. It's up here. No matter what tire, a brand new tire is going to ride like you're floating on 4 pillows. Because you got shitty, crappy tires that are, worn out. I wouldn't tell a customer that, though. But I would tell them, you drive on them tires for 2 weeks and you come back, And if you don't like them, I'll put your good riches on or your good years, whatever. And they would look at me like, oh, yeah, right. I'd say, hey, if you come back and tell me you don't like those tires, well, I knew they were going to like them because they were brand new tires. Brand new, mounted and balanced. You know, your old tires, they're wore out. They got hard spots. They got divots in them. You're missing a wheel weight and one wheel's wobbling, you know. Worked every time. I never had to eat a set of tires. Never once. But I would always push Kelly Springfields, Coopers, or Dunlops. Of course, that's when Dunlops were made overseas. Different rubber compound. Even though, you know, I'm living in the Goodyear tire state because Goodyear used to be in Akron, you know. We had the good old Goodyear Rubber Bowl, which they ended up tearing down. Yeah, well, that's some time you run into them problem. Yeah, you put them big ass monster tires on, and then the old engine's going, I can't keep up. Yeah, that shit happens sometimes. I've done it. Yeah, I tried putting big monster tires in my little four-cylinder engine. It was like, help me. Sometime, you know, you got to give up that look. Maybe the car looked cool with them tires, but the old engine didn't like them. And a lot of times, if you put big ass tires on, they get caught in the fenders. Yeah. That's why they make certain sizes. Now, like with me, I got low profile on the RAV4. Not ridiculous. I went with a wider tire and a little lower profile. It dropped the car down a little bit. I like it. Not to mention, you know, they ride really nice. I wish I could ride on them again. One of these days I'll get it running. You know, that's like there's guys around here. They jack their pickup trucks about 9 feet off the ground, and then they put these big goddamn Gazooka tires on. You need a stepladder to get up in the truck. Yeah, we got a couple of guys here that they got Gazooka tires on, and then they got fucking lift kit that, Christ, the The bottom of the cab is like right about here on my forehead. Oh, your daughter into that? Put a body lift on and then a suspension lift on top of it and jack it up about 6 feet off the ground. Need a goddamn rope ladder to get into it. Last summer, this Ford F-150 pulled in the shopping center and parked next to me. It had to be 4 feet off the ground. Big Yahoo tires. This little pixie jumped out. If she was 5 foot tall, she was big. So I says to her, I says, how do you get back in there? She reached in the bed and pulled out a stepladder. It was one of them, had 3 or 4 steps. And she had a rope on it. So that when she got in the truck, she pulled the stepladder up, folded up, and then tossed it in the bed. I was shocked. When she got out, it was no problem. She just jumped. Then to get in it, she had a stepladder. And I asked her, I says, are you driving your husband's truck? I'm not married. This is mine. I like it this way. Okay. I was waiting for like next week to have the fucking bull horns on the hood, you know. In some states, that shit's illegal. They can only be so high. And I know, like in Arizona, you have to have, if you've got your vehicle jacked up, you got to have mud flaps. And then you got to have extenders on the edge of your fenders to extend your fenders out if the tires are sticking out. Oh, Milk Crate wouldn't do it. Oh, she was tiny. She had to be barely 5 foot. Barely. Yeah, she had a little aluminum stepladder. One of them shorties. Well, now, that is stupid to take an Escalade and jack it. I could see, you know, a Denali or a Tahoe or a Acadia, an Escalade. But to each his own. I'm not making the payments on it. Oh, yeah, Frank, he loves getting them vehicles. I love watching Fridays with Frank. And he loves getting them jacked up vehicles with no mud flaps. Or the dark window tint. He's cool. I could see why he's so popular. But he don't take no shit. I saw him jerk a guy out of a truck one day. He had that guy in handcuffs so fast the guy didn't know what hit him. Go back in his videos. I think it was last year, April 1st. They did an April Fool's video that was hilarious. Because they did it. Frank was retiring. And the motorcycle cop, the kind of shorter motorcycle cop, he's a little chubby, he was going to take over for Frank. Oh, it was hilarious. You got to go to Fridays with Frank and look at last year's April Fool's where it says Frank retires or something. It was the funniest. Because, you know, Frank always carries a lot of pens. Because if people, their hands are kind of questionable, he just tells them, here, keep the pen. And that motorcycle cop had about 3,000 pens. Oh, it was hilarious. I love watching his videos. I just wonder what his next car is going to be. Because there's no more Dodge Chargers. They don't make them no more. I don't know what he's going to have for an undercover car next. Because he don't want no SUVs. I don't know what the hell they're going to give him. You know, goddamn Ford don't make no sedans anymore. Dodge don't make that. Nobody makes it. I don't know what he's going to do for an undercover car. Because that car, well, so many people know that car. It's not sneaky anymore like it used to be. He'll probably end up with a Toyota or something. Fridays with Frank with a Toyota Camry, you know. I don't think so. Although, somebody told me Salt Lake City has a fleet of Toyota Camrys for police cars. I'm going to have to gargle it. Somebody said they're using Toyota Camrys for police cars. I can't see one of them in a high-speed pursuit. Another what I love watching the Arkansas State Troopers, because there's one named Jason Bird. They call him the Birdman. He is the pit specialist. Man, that guy could pit somebody at 120 miles an hour and never lose control of the car. He just bink. Yeah, the Birdman. The legendary Birdman. Whenever there's a pursuit and the city police are chasing somebody, first thing they say, call the Birdman. We need somebody to stop this pursuit. The guy is out. Oh, he's unbelievable. I've seen him do some pit maneuvers that were just scary. Last of the coffee. Gee, I wonder if Sarah ever called And I forgot to get a hold of Miguel. Man, that was some sad news yesterday. Although Sherry's husband, oh, he's been battling for 2 or 3 years now. And she is one of the nicest people you ever wanted to meet. Her and her mother both. Just super people. Although everybody from the hospital they were just, like I say, it was like a big family. And with me being the cashier in the cafeteria, I got to know almost everybody. But at least her husband is out of his misery now. I know it was wearing her out. Have to go to the hospital every day, every day, every day. Boy, it shocked me that she used the funeral director up the street. I wonder if she asked him, "Do you have a Bentley?" That probably would have really surprised the shit out of him. Was that what? And if he said no, he was frickin' lying to her. Because he had one. Although maybe he was leasing it and got rid of it. Yeah, see, that's part of the problem with a lot of these cars. You know, by the time they stick the cage in them, you know, they had to build the front so that the officers could be comfortable wearing all their gear. Well, when you give them more room in the front, that's less room in the back. And even with those police seats they stick in the back of them, which are all, plastic, they can only make them so small. That's why there's so many goddamn SUVs. So like with Frank. Well, first of all, he's carrying a cameraman. If he arrests somebody, he's got to call for somebody to come get the prisoner. And they're always driving, a big SUV, an Explorer or a Tahoe or. Because the goddamn sedans. I'm waiting to see if Cleveland puts some of their Fusions up for auction. I'd like to get one. Because boy, could I lay it out with all the police equipment I still have. But everybody, Chrysler was the last one to make sedans. The Charger and what the hell was the other one? What the hell was the other one? They had the Charger. One was a two-door, one was a four-door. The Charger, and what was the other one? You had the Dodge Charger. I'm drawing a blank. Because I can't remember if Frank's got a Charger or if he's got... What the hell is the other goddamn... Well, it don't make no difference. They ain't making them anymore. Well, they are. Now the Charger is electric. I don't see them selling too many of them to police departments. They're pushing this electric shit. First of all, we don't have the grid to handle all these electric cars. And second of all, there's still too many Americans that like their old gas guzzlers. Guy up the street from me owns a Tesla. Every night he brags out the extension cord, plugs it in. We are not ready for electric vehicles. America's always been known as the muscle car country. And they're doing away with our muscle cars. Frank's got a Charger. I can't remember what the other one is. You had the Charger and... I can't remember what the other one was. Chrysler ain't making either. Well, like I say, the new Charger's all electric. And then what's stupid, it has a sound box. So when you turn it on, it makes revving noises. Brum, 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 brum. How ridiculous. An electric car with a revving sound box. You start it up, you turn it on, click, and then when you step on the accelerator, it makes revving noises. Most ridiculous thing I ever heard. I want to say the other one, is it a Daytona? No, that don't sound right. I'm trying to think of what the other one is. Oh, I'm sure he'll run that thing until it's got 1,000,000 miles on it. He won't want to part with that car. That's his trademark. I'll tell you what, that's probably one of the best maintained cars in the fleet to keep it going, because Frank won't want to part with that thing. You know, when they keep trying to shove these goddamn electric cars down our throat, they can see people ain't buying them. People ain't buying them goddamn electric cars. Well, the Crown Vic, they stopped making that. I think they stopped making that 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Like I say, damn Ford did away with all their sedans, except for little shit boxes. And I think this is the I think I read this is the last year for the Camaro, because it ain't selling. People like their Mustangs. They don't. The Camaro never compared to a Mustang. Never. That's one thing Ford said. They're going to continue on with the Mustang. They will always have at least one muscle car, because the Mustang still sells like crazy. And they're going to continue making a manual too. Yay, Ford. Because a true muscle car has to have a clutch. And a true muscle car driver needs to know what to do with their left foot. Take it from someone that owns nothing but manuals. Oh, really, Jenny? You got a Mustang? Oh, man. Cool. You know what I'd like to get my hands on? An old Fox body Mustang. I thought those were kind of neat. Although the new ones, they are nice. Get the old 5.0. Mm-mm-mm. Now tell me, Jenny, it's not an automatic, please. A true Mustang has to have a manual in it. But if you don't know how to use your left foot, I'll forgive you. Really? I thought the Mustang was still selling like crazy. Oh, that don't sound good. Man, that's all they need. Then Ford will dump the Mustang, and then what do they have? Nothing but shit. Yeah, I forgive you. Not everybody knows what to do with their left foot. That's okay. You can do a burnout just as well in an automatic as you can with a manual. Smoke them tires. Man, that's scary here, and they got a parking lot full of them. Ugh. Although Ford said they were committed to the goddamn Mustang until at least, I think they said 2030. But I did read the other day that I'm pretty sure they said this is the last year for the Camaro. Because it ain't selling. Although, you got so many of these goddamn young kids that they don't even want to get a driver's license. Oh, yeah, you take a Shelby Mustang or a Roush, the Ultra Performance, oh. And they sound mean, too. Okay, that works. You got a good deal on it, then take what you get. At least it's a Mustang. It's like my sister's got a Mustang convertible. I think she got it 3 or 4 years ago. She hardly drives it. I'm like, what are you saving it for? Posterity? Yeah, I can't remember what year her Mustang is. She got it 3 or 4 years ago. It sits in the garage. What the hell? What are you saving it for? Take it out and drive it, especially being a convertible. Jesus. I'm not making a payment. I don't care. Yeah, I'd like to have either a Shelby Mustang or a Roush. Either one would get me arrested. If I had a Shelby or a Roush Mustang, I'd have my foot in that thing constantly. Police would walk up to the door, and I rolled down the window, and we thought some teenage kid was driving this. No. Do you know how fast you were going? Well, evidently not fast enough. You caught me. Just once. Just once I'd like to get on the freeway, open goddamn Shelby or a Roush Mustang up to about 150. Blow by a cop, he'd go like, what the hell was that? I'd be one of them where he'd flick the lights on and he'd shut them off going, screw it, I can't catch him. And get arrested, get my car impounded, and come before a judge, and a judge would be looking at that ticket going, you? Yeah, me. 152? Is that all? I was trying to get to 160. This guy with these flashing lights kept getting up on my bumper. I kept waving him around me. He wouldn't come around. Guilty. What do you mean I don't have a driver's license anymore? Oh, that'd be scary. Oh, I don't even want to think of that ever happening. Oh, I enjoy driving too much to lose a license. I could handle 140, 150 miles an hour in a Mustang. Shit, I've driven everything under the sun. Just once. Just once. Just one time. But it would have to be, nice, smooth freeway. And people get the hell out of my way. I watch some of these chases and these idiots in traffic. They're dodging in and out of cars doing 90, 100, 120 miles an hour. What, that's the problem. Parents go out today and buy whatever the goddamn kid wants. It's like I watched something recently. This kid's parents bought him I can't remember what, an Audi A6 or A7. He was doing 120 miles an hour through an intersection and broadsided a van full of kids and killed everybody in the van. Only to find out this was the third vehicle he totaled. And his parents kept going out and buying him fast cars. Like I say, I look in the student parking lot at the high school. Audis and Beamers and kids don't need those kind of. They're probably driving better cars than their parents. Teenagers can't handle speed. They're lucky they can handle a car, let alone doing 100, 110 miles an hour. Yeah, but didn't it feel nice to be driving, though, Lindy, even though you were in pain? Sometime a good long drive makes you feel better. I know me. There's some days when I'm feeling rotten as can be. Get out and do a little driving and I feel better. Yeah, see, goddamn kids, show offs. They don't care who they kill. And the parents are just as guilty buying your kids a goddamn race car. Give them a little four-cylinder piece of crap and let them drive that. Well, people, I think it's about that time. I'm going to try my new hot dogs. Even though they're low sodium, I'm going to give them a try. Never had them before. But since they got in all the different hot dogs and sausages now, I told the assistant manager, since I pitched a bitch for 9 weeks, I'll start buying one of each. So we're gonna see how these taste with my Tony Paco's hot dog chili. What the hell is with my tablet tonight? Come on, go to the music page. Jesus. The original version. With the troops singing. And with that, everybody, it's been a wonderful night. Thanks for dropping in. Everybody take care. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Everybody take care. Be safe. And we will see you tomorrow. See ya.